Hi, my name is Serena, and this is the story of how I went from being a waitress to owning one of the largest hotel chains in the world. But before I continue, click like and subscribe. I think I've known Mom was a little kooky since I was a baby. She was always weighing me, checking my temperature, and taking me to her favorite place, the free clinic. On my 3rd birthday, I was about to blow out the candle on my cupcake when Mom suddenly shrieked, "Serena, stick your tongue out." It was purple. Cool. Mom flipped out, bundled me up in blankets, and rushed me off to the clinic. "My baby has some rare disease. You have to believe me this time." The doctor inspected my mouth. She ate a lollipop. Oh my God, a lollipop made her that sick? Is she going to make it? Ma'am, she just ate a purple lollipop. Your child is perfectly fine. Stop coming here and leave me alone. As I grew older, my life got even crazier with Mom always convinced that we had some serious disease. She couldn't even hold a job for too long because she'd always get fired for taking so many sick leaves. But on my 6th birthday, she took me out for a rare treat to an amusement park. As I got off the merry-go-round, I suddenly felt my left eye start to twitch, and I just couldn't make it stop. A few strangers thought I was being really cute, winking at them, but Mom looked really alarmed and rushed me straight to the hospital. The doctors ran some tests and concluded that the involuntary winking was a minor condition called blepharospasm, usually triggered by excitement or stress. What? That doesn't even sound minor. It's perfectly harmless. A small procedure will fix it. But we didn't have the money for it. It's just a little winking, right? It'll be fine. You'll be fine. What could go wrong? Turns out, a lot. A few months after that, my mom got a job as a teaching assistant at a really posh school. She was psyched because that meant I could go to this school for free. But on the very first day, in the very first class, I ended up winking at our cranky old math teacher. She looked like I'd just spit on her. "How dare you wink at me, you naughty child?" "Miss, I can't help it. It's a condition called blepharospasm." "Do you think you're really smart saying big words and I'm some buffoon? Stop making up nonsense and stop doing that." "I can't." "Can't or won't?" "I would if I could, but I really can't." Everyone around me was falling off their chairs laughing when suddenly a girl spoke up. "Miss, she did tell me that she was too smart for your class." "What? I've never even seen you before." "Okay, Miss Smarty Pants, why don't you solve this question?" "Oh, miss, can I? My math tutor from China taught me this. I don't think she'd know. Look at her shoes. She looks poor." I walked up to the board and solved it in a second. A 1st grader could solve that. I guess having a fancy tutor doesn't make anyone smart if they're like, dumb. After that, Barbara swore vengeance on me. She was always pulling tricks on me to make me look idiotic. One time, she told everyone I was stinky and I'd pooped my pants. I did not. "Did too. I just saw you winking again. Stinky Serena." She pulled my pants down and suddenly everyone burst into laughter. "We can see your underpants." What an idiot. In the 4th grade, I got selected for an important speech for Christmas. But during rehearsal, I suddenly realized I didn't have the speech paper on me. I felt really nervous and I started to speak from memory, but my winking was set off and the principal looked really annoyed. "Do you think this is some joke? You have to perform this speech in front of nuns and priests. You're not doing it. Barbara, you will." Barbara hopped on the stage and started reading out from a paper. It was my speech. But things got even worse by the time we reached 8th grade. The boys started paying me a lot more attention. One day in the gym, Barbara was clinging onto her jock boyfriend like a snake when I accidentally winked at him. He dropped Barbara to the floor and dashed straight towards me. "That wink stole my heart, Serena. Be my girlfriend." "Ew, you already have a girlfriend." "Not anymore." He tried to kiss me, but just then, a flying stiletto hit my head. "Get away from my man, you boyfriend stealer." Hearing that, another girl spoke up. "She did it with my boyfriend too, and now he can't stop talking about her." Another jock chimed in. "My girlfriend and I broke up because she winked at us both." Wait, when did that happen? Seconds later, the gym was filled with flying shoes as I tried to run for my life. Thankfully, just then, someone yelled, "Guys, there's a new guy and he's super hot." Within seconds, everyone was out the door. Phew, a guy would keep these girls distracted for weeks. But when I saw him, I had to admit, he was a total babe.
Class, I would like you to meet Victor, an exchange student from Russia. He'll be joining us for this school year.
Without a word or a smile, he walked to his seat. Barbara turned to me and hissed, "You can have all the boys you want, but Victor is mine. Stay away from him." "What are you talking about? I'm not even doing anything." Yet. Over the next few days, Barbara kept following Victor like a desperate puppy. But the guy was emotionless, like a robot. He wouldn't even smile back at anyone. But one day, Barbara saw me sneaking a glance at him and she pushed me from behind. I would have fallen to my death, but thank God, someone saved me. It was Victor. While he was holding me in his arms, our eyes met and I winked. He immediately dropped me to the ground.
That was the stupidest wink I've ever seen. Please, don't do that again.
Barbara was by his side instantly. "She's always doing that. She's a freak. I'll introduce you to the cool kids here." With that, she put her arm through his and they walked away. What a jerk. I was so getting back at this dude. The next day, I found him in the library playing chess with the others. And of course, he kept winning. Who was this guy? Freaking perfect Edward Cullen? When he was done beating everyone, I plopped into the chair in front of him. One of the kids shouted, "Loser will pay the winner $1,000. Russians are monsters in chess, Serena. You're just gonna embarrass yourself." I gulped. I couldn't pay $10, but it was too late to turn back. I had to win. We started playing, and to my surprise, I checkmated him in just 4 moves. He handed me a check and left without a word. Just then, I had the craziest realization, and I followed him outside. "Hey, you let me win on purpose, didn't you?" Suddenly, he walked closer to me till his face was just inches from mine. What are you doing?" He came even closer, and then he whispered in my ear,
"You're welcome."
Blood rushed to my face in anger. "How dare you underestimate me? Take your stupid money." I tore his check in half and walked away. What an arrogant jerk. But when I got home, I almost wished I'd taken the money. I found Mom curled up in bed, crying hysterically. "Mom, what's wrong?" "I'm sorry, sweetie, but your mama failed you. I quit my job today." "But why?" "I'm almost certain I have bird flu." "But Mom, only birds get bird flu." "You don't know that. I read in the news that it's spreading like crazy. I'm not leaving the house. I'm so sorry, but you'll have to drop out of that school." I had no idea when Mom would work again, and I needed to get a job immediately. Over the weekend, I found a decent job as a server at a fast food joint. At the end of the day, I'd have some guy waiting to take me on a date because I'd winked at him. As annoying as it was to explain the condition over and over, my winking got me crazy good tips. One day while I was working, a group of kids walked in, and I spotted Barbara and Victor among them. As soon as she saw me, she grinned wickedly. "Hey there, little Miss Ugly, Dumb, and Broke. You missed a spot." Then she poured a glass of soda all over the table. To my surprise, Victor jumped up instantly.
"What are you doing? This is stupid."
He started mopping up the table with tissue papers. Our eyes met, and before I could stop myself, I winked again. At that, Barbara turned into a freaking Karen. "Where is the manager? I demand to see the manager. This moron is trying to flirt with my boyfriend." That witch was going to get me fired. Thankfully, Victor stepped in and dragged her out.
"She's not my girlfriend, and she didn't wink at me."
I got a warning from my boss, and after that, he made me wear tinted glasses at work. One day after my night shift, my boss asked me to throw the leftover food in the dump outside. But why would you want to do that? There are so many homeless people all around. We could just give it to them.
"I run a business, not a charity. Just do what I'm telling you to."
I took the bag out and saw a lot of beggars and homeless kids lining up around the dumpster to dig through it for food. Not on my watch. I secretly gave them all the food and started taking the night shift daily. It felt great to be able to help them all. But just 2 weeks later, as I was about to distribute the food, my manager jumped up from behind the dumpster. He dragged me inside.
You thief! How dare you just give away my stuff like that?
Thief? All this food just lands in the garbage. What's wrong with you? It won't make your profits any less if you're kind to others.
Yada, yada, yada. Get out of my face. You're fired.
I wouldn't want to work with a monster like you anyway.
Yeah. We'll see you when you need money. No, you will not. I'm hiring her to work for my dad at his 5-star hotel. She won't be coming back to this dump.
I spun around to see Victor. I didn't know if he was kidding, but right now, it was best to play along. So I took his arm and walked off, sticking my tongue out at my ex-boss. Were you kidding back there?
No, of course not. I want someone like you at our company. Honesty and kindness are rare qualities, and you have them both.
Why are you helping me, Victor?
Because I think I'm in love with you, Serena. And your smile, and your wink, and your big heart. I can't ignore you anymore. I tried when I thought you were just a pretty face, but you're so much more than that. I can't ignore your kindness.
My heart was beating like crazy. Did he just say he loved me? I really like you too, Victor, but I'm not like you. You're so rich, and I'm not. Just then, he leaned in and kissed me. When we finally broke apart, he said,
I don't care about any of that.
Victor and I started dating, and of course, this meant Barbara was going crazy. One day, she showed up to stay at the hotel and demanded that I be sent in to clean her room. 5 minutes after I came out, she started raising hell, saying I'd stolen her money and her watch. I didn't touch a thing, you psycho. How dare you talk to me like that? You're just a maid and a thief. With that, she started throwing things around and demanded that I be fired instantly. I turned to my manager. You can check my stuff. I didn't take anything. I'll sue the hotel if you don't fire her on the spot.
Or we could have you thrown out instead for treating my staff badly and damaging my property.
I turned around in relief to see Victor, who had her taken out by security immediately. The next day, to everyone's shock, Barbara was serving lunch in the cafeteria. Turns out, Victor had threatened to sue Barbara's dad and said the only way he'd let it go was if she worked as the lunch lady for a whole year. After that, Barbara never messed with me again, and I graduated high school at the top of my class. Victor and I both got degrees in hotel management, and after we graduated university, he asked me to marry him. At our engagement party, we also announced the launch of our special welfare program, where all the extra food from the hotels would be given to shelters and the homeless. Soon after, we moved to London to set up another hotel. I got a small procedure to fix my wink. Now when I wink, I totally mean it. Hi, I'm Nancy, and this is the crazy story of my life events that turned me upside down from being a poor maid to becoming the Prince Charming's girl. I was just a baby when my parents died in a car accident. My aunt took me in, and even though she was a poor single maid with not much to get by, she loved me like I was her own. Once when I was 4, Aunt came home on Christmas Eve looking bone-tired. But when she took off her hat, I almost fell down in shock. Her long, beautiful hair was all gone. She looked like a boy. Don't look so worried. It'll grow back. I sold my hair because I didn't want another Christmas to go by without you having a present. She took out a beautiful necklace with my name on it and put it around my neck. I couldn't believe she'd done this for me. Aunt would always leave me with the neighbors when she went to work. But once when I was 6, they had to go out of town and she had to take me with her. My jaw dropped when I saw her workplace. Our whole house could fit inside the hall of this mansion. Now I see why you're so tired all the time, Auntie. You need a car to get around here. The lady of the mansion overheard me and laughed.
Oh, aren't you a little cutie pie? Why don't you come meet my son, Jeff?
Just then, a boy my age walked up to me and gave me the warmest smile. Hey, wanna go play in my room? Yes! And that day was the day that changed my life forever. I met my best friend. I loved hanging out with him, and I begged my aunt to take me with her often. Soon enough, Jeff's mom arranged for his private tutor to teach me too, so now I had a reason to go every day. As I grew older, my aunt started paying more attention to my looks. One day she came home with a bag full of cheap makeup. "You're a pretty girl, Nancy. You have to always look perfect when you're hanging out with Madame's boy." "But, Auntie, we're friends, and he knows what I look like. Why would he care about my face?" But she wouldn't hear a word, and after that, I always had to go to the mansion with a fully done-up face. Over the years, I realized that I had totally fallen in love with Jeff, but I knew I was just the maid's niece, and he'd never feel the same way about me. Once when I was 14, I fell really sick and couldn't go to the mansion for a week. But when I was alone at home one day, someone rang the doorbell, and I was shocked to see that it was Jeff.
"Nancy, I was really worried about you."
And with that, he suddenly hugged me. I totally panicked. I pushed him aside and ran to my room. Gosh, I looked so pale and terrible. I quickly applied makeup to my face and hurried downstairs.
"Why are you wearing makeup?"
"Because I'm not pretty enough without it."
"Nancy, please go and wash your face. Can you do that for me?"
"Okay, but will you promise to be nice?"
"I promise."
When I came back with my washed face, Jeff put his hand on my chin and held my face up.
"Nancy, you're so beautiful."
As he pulled me closer, I saw his eyes were tearing up. We kissed, and there were fireworks exploding in my head. He told me to take care of myself and left. I was excited and nervous about seeing him the next day. But when we got to the mansion, I saw his mom was busy supervising some men as they were taking out furniture from the house. She called me and handed me an envelope. "This is your aunt's salary. A little something for you, too. I'll miss watching you grow up, Nancy." "What's happening, ma'am? Where's Jeff?"
"He left last night because he transferred to a high school in Paris, and I'm going there too. Maybe we'll see each other again someday."
She pulled me into a warm hug and then walked away. I was so scared, thinking I'd never get to talk to Jeff again. But he emailed me a week later, and we wrote to each other every single day. His life in Paris seemed amazing. But soon, the emails got less and less frequent, till they just stopped altogether. He seemed to be really busy with his new life, and I figured it was time for me to move on with my own. By the time I graduated from high school, I was working 2 jobs, as a cleaner at the mall and a librarian's assistant. One day when I got home, I found out that my aunt had broken her foot. I slipped at work, and the doctor said I can't work for weeks. I can't afford to lose that job, Nancy. You won't, okay? I'll go instead. The next day, when I was cleaning one of the guest rooms, I came across a portrait of Jeff. As I touched it gently, a high-pitched voice suddenly made me jump out of my skin. "Are you drooling over that dork? Well, you're just the maid, so I guess you don't have any standards. That's my stepbrother, and I have yet to meet a bigger loser than him." Jeff had a stepsister? No, I was just cleaning. "I was still talking? Don't interrupt me. I'm Linda. That's Miss Linda for you. And now my mom and I live here, so I don't know why his ugly portrait is still around. You can throw it in the trash on your way out." I didn't have the heart to throw it away, so I snuck it into the dusty old attic and prayed she'd never go there. One evening, just as I was heading out of the mansion for work, Linda popped out of nowhere. "Ninny, come with me. It's an emergency." I followed her to her room to see piles of dresses on the bed. "I'm hosting a party tonight, and I have to look amazing. You have to take pictures of me in every outfit so I can let my followers on Instagram decide." "Miss Linda, I'm sorry, but I have plans with a friend and..." "Friend? Where does a maid even make friends? Is there a maid school you went to?" "No, just a regular high school." "Listen, I don't have time for this. Cancel your stupid plans because you're supposed to help with the party. Didn't Mom tell you? Now, chop chop, start my photo session." As if all this wasn't bad enough, I accidentally dropped a glass of juice on one of her friends, and she went ballistic. OMG, this is literally the easiest job on the planet. First, your dumb aunt slips and breaks her foot, and now you're being such an idiot. Does stupidity run in the family? I turned around, grabbed my stuff, and ran out the front door. I was never coming back here. Just as I stepped out, I bumped into someone. Jeff? His adorable smile lit up his face, and he pulled me close. But suddenly I pushed him away. "No, you just cut me out of your life, and now you decide to walk back into mine and expect me to welcome you?"
"I know you're mad, and I'll understand if you don't want to forgive me. But Nancy, I've missed you so much."
So, why didn't you stay in touch?
I tried, but I had Dad watching me like a hawk. He did his best to make sure I wouldn't contact you because he felt you were distracting me. I'm so sorry.
I looked at his face and I knew he was being honest.
Can you please just hug me now?
We hugged. He whisked me away to a beautiful viewing point on a cliff, with the whole city glittering beneath us and the stars above us. He gently drew me close and kissed me, and in that moment, it felt like everything was just right. The next day, I really didn't want to go back to work, but I did for Aunt's sake. When I got there, Linda was already screaming at the maids. The minute she spotted me, she went off on me. Here comes another idiot. Did you think elves and fairies were going to come at night and clean this mess? It's still waiting for you. Get to it. Now!
Before I could speak, I heard Jeff behind me. Knock it off, Linda. You can't talk to Nancy like that.
Oh, I see. You're in love with this maid. Well, history really does repeat itself. Our dad also married way below his league when he chose your mom. Now it's your turn.
Don't you dare say anything about my mom or Nancy, and you can't treat her this way.
Oh, yeah? Watch me. And with that, she walked up to me and slapped me, and I just snapped. I pushed her to the ground, and just as I was about to punch her stupid face, Jeff pulled me away. Linda's mom came running at the commotion, and she fired me on the spot.
I don't want you or your aunt to ever set foot in this house again.
When I went home and told everything to Aunt, she burst into tears. Please don't be upset. I promise I'll find another job. But just then, Jeff spoke up.
You don't have to. Please, let me help you. I love Nancy, and you worked for us for so many years. It's the least I can do.
I tried to refuse, but Jeff just wouldn't take no for an answer, so I accepted his offer till I found some work. Soon after, I got into college and also started a part-time job. As much as I wanted him to stay, I knew Jeff had to go finish his studies in Paris. We kept in touch as much as possible, and some days I missed him enough to cry. On the day of my graduation, he didn't show up because he said his flight was delayed, and I felt really sad. But when